guys know that we had some technical difficulties. We weren't able to get on, but we are on Zoom. We're doing it now. We're doing it for you because my friend Eddie here has a huge message to send. And I think all chiropractors on the planet need to hear this message. So Eddie, thank you for doing this with me.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me. I know that's it's such as technology. You know what? Time and place, though. God has different timing. Here we are. We're going to rock it out. So it's all good. It's all good.
Awesome. So if you guys have been following along this week, and Eddie, I don't know if you've been following any of our stuff this week, but we've been talking a lot about creating value in chiropractic.
Sure.
And most of the topics that I pick actually are topics that I get from either the people that I coach or students that I'm helping out. And one of the questions that I got early last week is somebody had messaged me and said, Dr. Nicole, can you help me with my mindset on value? He said, I am currently an associate in a practice. I'm going to be opening and he's an associate in a practice that is not charging very much for an adjustment. I'm not going to name the practice, but it's like a,
that's most of them. That's most of them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But it's like a $25 or so adjustment, right? Or something like that. Yeah. And he goes,
specialty copays are more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, they charge like I don't know, $25, $30, something like that, an adjustment. And he said, how when I open my practice, how do I create value for people to be able to have a higher fee structure?
Sure.
And I was like, that's a phenomenal question. I think every chiropractor on the planet at some time or another wants to know this.
Sure.
You already, Eddie, you know my stance on it. You've heard me speak at New Beginnings. I know a lot of people probably there maybe didn't agree with what I was saying, but I personally believe that we as chiropractors, we deserve to be paid well for what we do. We do something that no other profession on the planet does.
Yeah.
And it's life, it's not only life changing, it's not only life transforming. We say that all the time. It's life saving what we do.
Yeah.
And I know you have a tremendous
that's I think, I mean, my gosh, we can go crazy right now if we have hours of this and talk about it. I think the biggest variable is if I'm a chef and I'm really good at cooking food, I can choose to go work at McDonald's or I can go to a high-end restaurant, both of which are serving people, both of which are making people happy. It's just a different type of standard, right? It's a different type of value. And so the value doesn't come in with the food. The value comes in with the one who's providing the food. And so if the one that's providing a food, I will present you with X, and that experience is going to be this. And with that, the perceived value is, wow, it's going to be expensive. The very first perceived value is always the first impression. So if we're dating and I go to your house and I knock on the door and I said, hi, and I'm wearing a shirt that has a hole in it, my pants are stained, the shoes are dirty, the perceived value of who you think you are and what you're going to bring to the table is very low. So when you walk into, are you walking into an office? Do you envision, associate or not, do you walk into the office with people's perceived value is this, wow, this is very nice. It's very clean. It's very professional. It's very put together. I know that there's going to be a perceived value. And so just yesterday, I sat down with a woman who has been to several different types of doctors, including 4 of the chiropractors. And I sat with her. She's got some big time life-threatening stuff going on. And I sat and I explained my care program to her. And she looks at me and goes, wow. I'm like, okay, is everything okay? She's like, I was ready to pay a lot more than what you're showing me. Yeah. I am $200 a visit. And they look at me when I put this together. I don't pay nobody ever pays per visit. I have programs that I put together with people, but it's based on a $200 visit increment. And I sat down with her, explained to her, I said, I'm only going to bill you for the first 12 visits because I want to see how you respond. And we're going to go from there. And so the care program is going to be about $3,400 with everything all in. And she's like, wow, I was ready to do $10,000 or $12,000. I had no idea because I created such a value. And then I think what most chiropractors want to do is they go to bed on their first date. And that's what's so wrong with the growing and learning of how to create a value. I don't ever adjust until day 3 in my office. So day 1 is day to day. We collect all of the data and it's really, as I tell every one of my patients, today's really all about me. I'll be honest with you. It's all about me. It's me as your doctor collecting data. I want to know if I can help you and see if you're a right fit, see if you're a right candidate. See, just by saying if you're a right fit or candidate lets them think is, well, why wouldn't I be? I want to get in here. Why can't, right? They get antsy. And so they
Yeah.
get antsy in the end because I want to be part of this thing. I don't know if you're a right fit. I don't know if you're right to date me. Right. And that's that's how I see it. It's a date. And so the next visit is all about you. It's we go over all of the data. It's report day. It's all about you. And there's no charge for day 2. I never charge for bad news, by the way. So there's no charge for day 2. And if there's no charge for day 2, I'm going to go over everything that I'm finding. And then you're going to make a buying decision if this makes sense to you. And then on day 3, we're going to start care. How does that sound? You see, it's like the Weather Channel, right? It's constant updates. And so if I know on the first date, we're going to go to a nice restaurant. And on the second date, we're going to go to a restaurant. But more importantly, we're going to go for a walk and we're going to learn about each other. And on the third date, you're going to go, wow, I'm really feeling this. Maybe it's worth a kiss. So that's how I look at the relationship of perceiving value. And once you have that value, people don't have to say, do I have to ask for a referral? No, when we're dating, you're going to go, I'm really like dating you. Would you like to meet my friends and family? You see what I mean? Would you like to meet my friends and family? Sure. They don't ask. I'm just going to refer my friends and family this way because I like the value in the services you're providing. See, I think that's where we get in trouble is that, am I going to close them? I hate that term, by the way. Are we going to close them? We're not closing anybody. This is serving people with the gift that we have, and that experience that they get to have as a human is so enhanced that they're going to want to pay for it. And so I think that's the disconnect in schools, is that there's no value for the adjustment. We look at it like, this is why I don't understand chiropractors adjusting at seminars. I'm like, don't you have a chiropractor? Why are you going to a seminar to get adjusted? Help me here. And so it's, again, and most chiropractors don't follow their own care programs.
So I want to jump in just for everybody that's watching. You know, you guys might be listening to all this. I want to let you know that the same thing happens in my office as happens in Eddie's office. You know, our first initial visit is about $150 for our initial, for our not initial, but for our visits. And the same thing, we take them through a process where we're not, our intention, we're not going in with the intention to close a patient. We're going in the room with the intention to build a relationship with this person.
A rapport. Yeah.
And same thing. I love the term. What did you say? Chiropractors love to jump in bed on the first date or something like that.
They go to bed on the first date. Yeah. Let's get adjusted right away. I'm like, you didn't collect the data.
No, we tell people almost from the moment that they walk into our office that we don't even start everybody that walks into our office as a patient. That we don't even accept everybody as a patient. And there's a few reasons why. We go into that on the day 1 and day 2 with them. So we go through almost the same exact process in our office as Eddie does. We get pretty much the same results. Now, why am I sharing that with you? I'm sharing that with you because I want you to know that this is not just a one-hit wonder. Like, Eddie's not just a one-hit wonder. Like, anybody can do this, right? And I'm the first person to tell you guys, like, I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. Like, there are days my husband is like, how did you become a doctor? Okay. So I'm just sharing that with you that, you know, anybody can learn this. Anybody can do this. And I think as a profession, we have to start elevating ourselves. Now, you had just said something else. What did you just say about, what was the last thing you said? Do you remember? Because it was super important.
Well, I think growing in at the latter part of it was really growing a rapport with somebody to where I am so comfortable with you in this relationship that I'm not challenged anymore or doubting your care. I want your care. How do you get them during the transition of the educational process to go, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before. Let me think about it. I need this now. How do we do this?
Yeah.
Right. And so,
exactly.
And to your point, you're not going to date everybody, and not everybody's the right fit for your office because maybe they're in a different mindset of what the ideal client is for you. You know, however, you can go into the McDonald's of chiropractic, something like a place that starts with a J. I won't even mention them, but you can go on in there and it's in and out. Thank you. Wham, bam, bye, gone. First date. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? Now, not good. There's no exams. There's no rapport. There's no relationship. It's simply just a quick fix, pop, go. And are they helping people? That's not for me to judge. And so again, how you do that and what you do is only your business. How or what you think about me is none of my business. It's your business. So when you're doing that and having that relationship, one of the books that I have here is that I'm flipping through is so cool. It's called $100 Million Offers. Really, really cool book. And it's growing a rapport and how you build value stack, how you value stack. I'm adding this. I'll be offering this. We'll be talking about this value, 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 and all of this. You're going to get all of this for this. How does that sound? Well, gosh, why wouldn't I buy? That's crazy. I can't get that anywhere else. How do you do that? And it sucks. It so sucks that we have to turn this into a business because it is. It is. But I think more people let their wallet get in the way of the care that they want to provide. And so it's a seminar I've got coming up pretty soon in the next month or so. And talking about that is how do you create so much value to where the perceived value of money is right on the wall, right? And so if there's, the values on the wall when they walk on in, is it smell good? Is there a good energy? Is the lighting there? Are people friendly? Is there a good vibe? Are there plants? Are there flowers? Whatever that is, what do you want? And how do you, chiropractor, want to be taken care of? Because your office is your home. And if you invite people into your home, they're at peace, that value of that friendship or that bond is priceless. And I think, now imagine the two variables of the brains, the thinking educated brain and the innate brain going back and forth. If the educated brain is at peace, where I have purchased, I know what I'm going to get, I've given you money for that, my innate brain, when I lay on your table, goes, go to work, Hans, go to work. Right? Because now there's no, but what about, is it going to hurt? What about, are you answering every single variable and doubt of question that they have? So when they're on the table, it's head, heart, hands, and you can just go. And when you do, that's when miracles happen. That's when they happen.
Yeah. And that's, I think, really important too, especially for newer doctors. Can you talk a little, well, wait, before we do that, I know I'm all over the place, but I'm very excited.
Sure.
You had sent me, you had sent me a story, a video.
Okay.
And you had told me a story a week or two ago about somebody who flew in to see you. And they paid $1,200. Can you share that with our audience today?
Yeah. They spent it was $2,000 for 5 hours, and is what they sat down with me. And I said, I will give you.
Wait a minute. They paid out of pocket. They paid you out of pocket $2,000 for 5 hours of your time.
That happened.
Expertise.
That was 5 days ago. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell us the story. How did that all happen? And how are you able to create that much value for this person?
Sure. Well, the value was already given there by the person who referred on in, because the person who referred that in already paid me $2,500 for 4 hours of my time. And so when I sat down with them, and they had a ton of different things going on, a lot of relational stuff. Getting Weller is healthy body, healthy mind, healthy relationships. So I do a bunch of relationship coaching, getting rid of the thoughts, traumas, and toxins, right? So I address that. And so I've got this all-in intensive, 5-hour event with me. So they flew on in from Wisconsin. I'm in St. Louis. So they flew on in, sat down with me, and we sat and talked. But the person who referred them in, they already paid before they made the appointment. They paid $2,000 before they even showed up and met me physically. So that is the perceived value already by the person who's referring them in. Hey, you got to go to this restaurant. It's unbelievable. You're going to love it. It's fantastic. Go have a good time. You don't care what the value cost on the menu. You were just told you got to go check this out because they went and they loved it and you want to do and experience the same. You see how that happens? That can only happen when you're consistent with your fee structure. That can only happen when you're consistent with your principles and how you do your systems. And if you don't have those and you're all over and you're this hodgepodge and this big menu, I don't like chiropractors doing all of these things that school says, put all of these tools in your toolbox, master your tool.
Yeah.
And when you master it, people will pay for that because you're a specialty, you're a niche in that realm. And if you are, then people will come on in and pay. So And that's just how it
Yeah.
works. The most I've ever received, personally ever received for an adjustment, when somebody comes in, flew in, got an adjustment and left, they were with me physically in my space for about a half hour, was $2,300. So they
Wow.
$2,300 they came on in, flew in from California. I did my entire protocol with them. So I was with them. I did my exams. I did everything, did it all in one. And they came in and got adjusted, got in a plane and left. They were in my office a total for about 3 hours. And they were with me, physically with me for about an hour. So yeah, it's $2,300 is the most, I believe that's what it was, $2,300. So
Wow.
some people do better, some people do worse, whatever that is. It's what you find is value to you. You know what I mean? So if you
Yeah.
think about it, this piece of paper is worth nothing, right? It's a blank sheet of paper. But if you put ink on it, all of a sudden there's value just by the ink. If you put principle in philosophy, science, and art to what we do and teaching about the innate God-given wisdom from within and how you can prove it with the science that you've done something constructive for them and then their life is going to change because of that, you should get compensated for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's an energy exchange.
It is. It is. But the problem is failed chiropractors are teaching in our schools today. Failed chiropractors are teaching in our schools. And so they don't have a value of what chiropractic is. So they relate that message to the student as the student looks up to these quote gurus and they're going, there's no value for the services you're providing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
I
crazy.
have I just sent one of my CAs, who came through my office. So naturally she's very principled. She's in chiropractic school now, and she called me up a couple weeks ago, a little bit frustrated because she is experiencing that the faculty, the teachers at her school, at her chiropractic college, she says there's no congruency amongst them.
Right. Right.
Like one is teaching like the principle, one is teaching like what evidence based or whatever. One is like, don't be one of those chiropractors where you make people come for their lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
She's hearing all this in
Right.
school. And she's like a little bit bright. She's like brighter than the average bear, and she's going, Dr. Nicole, like, what did I do? Did I make a mistake by going to chiropractic school because this is pretty excuse me,
Mhm.
screwed up?
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yep.
so she and I obviously had a big, but you're right, you're right. And the days of the $15 and the $25 adjustment, they need to be gone, because you would never eh,
So
the
this is the
old
best. We're going back to it. I did donation for my first 3 years, right? And I still have a
okay,
donation box. 25 years later, I still have a donation box on the wall. And so I have that box because that is that is the difference of the fee structure. The difference of the fee structure, here's my fees. I can't afford that. That's fine. I have a box on the wall. You can put money in the box, but I see you understand much less in our care program as far as time with me is much, much different than those that pay in full. So I'm not going to
right,
let Christ, I won't let Christ walk through my door and says, what, your wallet's more important than serving? No, I won't let that get in the way. I just let people know, and they're a small percentage, understand. There's probably 20 people that will
yeah, yeah,
put money in the box. That money in the box goes to my not-for-profit to helping kids and building schools across the world. And
I
so,
love that.
so that's they're now they feel like they're contributing not to my wallet, but that money, I let them know that money's going to schools and feeding orphan children. And so that's what I do with that. So there's a means of exchange.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
not everybody in the Titanic was able, on the lower level, was able to go to the top level and enjoy that dining room. However, they still were able to eat.
Yeah.
Right?
And I love that. I think it's a brilliant idea. I love how you donate it. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And
And and certainly, but the point that you made, and that I think is really important, is that like it's a small percentage of people.
oh,
The majority of the people that come into your practice, like
wonder what's 1%? It's maybe 1%. Yeah.
maybe 1%. So understand, folks that are watching this, like, you know, nobody is saying to beat people over the head and abuse them in any way, financially or anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is about having fair exchange.
You
And
can't go,
so,
you can't go into the Mercedes dealership and says, "Hey, I've got 30 grand. What can I buy?" They'll say,
yeah,
"No, what? You can go down the block and go get a Buick if you want to go do that or something. When you're ready, we're ready for you."
Sure.
There's a value to the service. They can't discount. I can't discount, right?
Yeah.
You can't
Sure.
do that, so
Sure.
this is why I don't do mission trips. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of mission trips because a lot of chiropractors, go there, you get good experience, and you get good experience. You get in this zone of delivering care, and then you come back and try to run a business, and you can't because you so want to serve. You give it away because there's no value in the mission trip, right?
I never
Unless you,
thought about that.
unless you on a business level, not a chiropractic level, on a business
Right,
level.
right.
Right. And so on a chiropractic level, you are serving, you're giving without any interruption. You can do the exact same thing in your office, exact same thing. When you remove you, chiropractor, you should not be talking fees. Let your staff do that. And if you don't have a staff, I know many chiropractors that don't, then be transparent. My fees are on the wall. When you walk on in, day one, $475. Day two, no charge. Day three, $2,400. And that includes, these are the benefits, these are the features. Be transparent.
I love that.
And if you can't be transparent with that because, with the wall, then your dating is very difficult. Your closing, right, conversion is very difficult. My conversion rate's 92%.
Yeah.
And so 92 of 100 people will sign up for that care program at $200 a visit.
Yeah. And you know what, Eddie, I never thought about putting it on the wall, and I do love that idea. I might actually steal that from you. But here's I think the psychology behind it. So people don't care how much your care costs. People will pay what you ask them to pay. It can if it could be $1,000, it could be $10,000. I have a friend who practices in Pittsburgh, and he has $20,000 care plans, $24,000 care plans that he sells every day in his practice. They're a year worth of care is $20,000 in his office.
Sure.
And he does this all day long, every day. And what was my point? My point is that people don't care what they pay in your office. They just want to know what it is.
Yeah.
They just want to know what it is.
How are you going to help me? And I tell everybody, if you want pain relief, go take an aspirin. You know what I mean? Pain's the last thing to show up, and it's going to be the first thing to go away. But your problem, there's a bunch of different things that are going on neurologically. But if you don't drill the philosophy to where, because that's the only commonality we have from one innate creature to the next. When we drill the philosophy and then you show, your art means nothing. Right? If you don't have your philosophy and the science that are congruent with one another to prove your work. I do imaging, infrared thermography, a lot of objective data, 17 different exams. I take the science aspect, tie it into the philosophy that this innate wisdom lives within the nervous system, and then you apply your art.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And so
that's another important, like you're getting check box after check box here. That's another important thing too, guys, is because we always have this debate of like, is our language, like, is it important to have philosophy in chiropractic? It's not chiropractic without the philosophy, number one, but that's a whole nother topic. Yeah. But anyway, that was one of my posts. If you got this week, if you go back and look at the posts, guys, one of the posts was, if you're using chiropractic as a musculoskeletal as a way to treat musculoskeletal pain, you're never gonna be able to create value.
Well, here's the answer to that. When the pain goes away, so do they.
Well, when the pain goes away, so do they. And if the pain doesn't go away, they still go away.
So do they. Right. You're dead either way. But,
and then think about it. There are way cheaper, and just like you said, there are way cheaper and way quicker ways for people to treat their pain. Right? It's like well, now in today's day and age, like $1 maybe for an aspirin or something, or $5 now. I don't know what it costs now, but whatever it costs, Yeah. But for like $1 or $2, they can take an aspirin and get rid of their pain. So people are not paying for pain relief. Like, please understand, they're not coming to you for pain. Pain is their initial motivator to step into your office. That's just their initial, most basic level of
Something's wrong. Something is wrong with me, and I can't get it figured out. Whatever that is, right? You're right. Yeah. And so now they have a value to that. What would that be worth if that was no longer there? The problem is, if that doesn't go away, you failed, and so did the chiropractic in their eyes. That's why you can't be a chiro treater. That's why I never tell anybody, I have no idea if it's going to go away. I don't.
Eddie,
How could you say you do? And so you
what do you,
don't. You're just a better off being. But you're going to notice that was the whole Dee Dee thing. When I was reading Dee Dee's book way back in the day, Dee Dee and Harvey and the whole story. And so after Harvey, quote, gets his hearing back, Dee Dee starts putting up banners all over town. I cure deafness. And not one person got their deafness restored. However, they noticed that their heart was no longer arrhythmia. They didn't have reflux. They didn't have headaches. Their digestion changed. So he's like, what's going on with this thing? Right? And
yeah,
so there's things that change with that adjustment. We all know that. It's just divine timing. However, how do you sell that on a business model? This is why I never ask anybody to marry me, right? I always tell everybody, we're going to date for a little while. I use this analogy. I set everybody up for 12 visits because it's digestible. It's easy.
yeah,
I can get a feel and I can grow a relationship with you in 12 visits where I'm really uncomfortable and I understand the systems. What's after 12 visits? Well, I've got a membership program to the office. You can pay per visit, but it's very expensive, or you can get on the membership. And when you're on the membership, now you're part of this community and I take you under my wing. How's that sound? There you go. And so
yeah.
everybody signs up with that and it's just easy. I make it really affordable and I value stack it. And you can pay per visit at $200, but what if you were to pay $249 for the whole month? And now I can see you when I need to see you. You can't let patients dictate care because you can't run it like a gym that way because that's running it like an insurance company, by the way, people. Right?
Yeah.
You as a doctor have to dictate care. If you want to see them once a week, then you just put it in your notes, I want to see them once a week. But as long as you, practitioner, are saying that, not the patient coming in says, oh, I'm just rolling in. Can you see me today? I'm coming. Well, why are you here? No. That's not part of my visit care program. So
Yeah.
you can get away with it if you're flying under the radar, but know that you're running it like an insurance company on a business level. As my wife's an attorney, that's a no. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Something
Again,
that I wanted
how do
to,
you put but to your, everybody who's watching, though, Nicole, how do I start by creating a value? I was told at one time, there's no way anybody would charge $100 a visit. I'm like, okay. So I did that for a while. They're like, there's no way you can do 150. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. My buddy put me on a dare. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So let's go to
do
200.
you?
There's no value. The value's here. My life has been transformed because of this. So is it going to be less than when people, so for instance, there's a woman, I scanned her yesterday. I do infrared thermography. I ran an instrument on her spine. Her spine is neurologically sound. You look great. I don't have to adjust you today. You're doing great. You have no cavities, right? Everything's good. And she's like, okay. So that visit, when she comes in, she's been with me for a while, $75, right? That's a 6-second visit with me. She comes on in, I sit down, I run this instrument on the spine. She's physically in my space, 6 to 8 seconds. I go, wow, you look great. Thanks. Okay, I guess I'll see you in a few weeks. Cool, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great day. Give her a hug and she leaves. That's $75, and that was roughly total conversation, 45 seconds. Would you like to get paid $75 for 45 seconds?
Yeah.
Right? And people are like, how do you do that? It's not about how I do it. It's how you want to do it and how you want to practice. And you're going to attract a certain type of people. How do you want to make your food? You're going to attract a certain type of people that want to pay for that. So for instance, my wife and I went to a restaurant not too long ago, just last week, and we sat down on date night, and it is straight up 80s decor. We're talking plastic plants, right? You can see the old carpet. The fish tank has seaweed in it and that whole thing. But the reason why we go there, the food is freaking ridiculous, right? So the decor may not match it all, like I was talking about earlier. However, when you sit down, it's the experience of the meal that you're really wanting is what was so great. It was $310 for 2 of us to eat. And so we sat down. Why in the world would anybody pay that? Because it created an experience. There's no flat screens anywhere. It's quiet. There's soft music. I can dine. There's no rush. The service is over the top. The food is to the nines. It just so happens that there's an 80s decor. Cool. I'm not coming for the 80s decor. However, you are a chiropractor. I'm very particular when I walk into my office. I like it clean. I like certain colors. I like this. Not everybody cares, but it creates a perceived value of what the value you find in your space. And so when you do that, your meal better provide what they're expecting. And if you're not providing that meal to them, then there's a disconnect, like the Weather Channel constant updates. There's a disconnect in that relationship because I pay for X and I'm not getting Y.
Yeah. There's shoot, Eddie, you're just brilliant. There's so many golden nuggets that I feel like as you're talking, I'm like, I need to highlight to people. I want to go back a second. And I want to go back a second, because one of the things that you had said a minute or two ago was about symptomatology.
Uh-huh.
And, and when people come in, how, we can't, we're not treating symptoms, whether it be pain symptoms or organ problems,
Sure.
we're not treating them. Right. And we don't know, like when we give an adjustment, we don't know how the body is going to symptomatically respond. And I had somebody mention to me the other day that he was, nervous about raising his fees because of just what you were saying. He was nervous about having a higher fee schedule because he was like, well, what if I have a higher fee schedule and the patient's not getting results? And I said, well, first of all, tell me, what is your definition of results? And he was
Right.
like, well, yeah, like what if they have migraine headaches and then their migraine headaches don't go away? How can I justify that fee? And that is a mindset issue, guys. That's a mindset. Why? Because they're not they're not paying that fee for their headaches to go away.
Right.
You're creating this experience for them so that what they're paying for is something totally different than symptom resolution.
Being symptom-based or resolve. And when you can teach them there is a possible cause to your migraines, and it may very well be your spine. So this is why I used to put people on year-long care plans way back in the day. And I'm like, well, how do I know? Because if I'm doing braces, I know I'm going to move your teeth in a year with braces, but I have no idea what your spine's going to look like or function like in a year from now, because we're not there yet. And so instead of having them go ahead and pay for that a year from now, it's really easy to go back to that chiropractor and say, how do I raise my fees? Don't change your fees for existing clients. Just bump it up for all new. All new people set a new fee. Like I raised all my fees actually 6 weeks ago, $15. So I bumped it. I don't know why. It was just something I prayed about. And I said, no, I'm going to raise it $15. It's for each person. And so, okay, cool. It was digestible. It was easy for me to say that to somebody. So
Right.
I get uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie to you. After 25 years, I still get uncomfortable about going over care programs with people when it comes to finances. I don't like it because I want to give it away because I think everybody needs this. I have my Cairo cape on and everybody needs this thing, right? And so
Yeah.
this woman came on in. She came from another doc down the block, and I know who they are. And I trained them. And there's some things that went down in that space that I didn't like. And so I said, hey, we check each other. I know this doctor. I trained him for 3 years. It's all good. But we all cook differently in our kitchen, don't we? See my head? We all cook differently. Yes. And they said, yes. I said, so what I do is very different. Even though I've trained that person, everybody paints a different picture with their own brush and canvas. And so there's got to be a different way of doing stuff. And my protocol is very different. And she's like, how so? So I went through over everything. She's like, got it. I'm in. What's this cost? I said, okay, I'm 3 times the cost of that person that I trained. And they've already paid that person and it didn't work for them. Now go ahead and close that deal. Have a good time, right? Because you can't say you're totally different because I trained them to do the type of work that I do. So I said, well, this is the care program. It's $2,400. If you want to pay it up front, it's $1,800. I knock off $600 if you pay it up front. So now it's $150 a visit instead of the $200 if you want to pay it up front. Chiropractors, please, if you ever offer a discount, don't do it by percentage. Hey, do you want to save 18, 20%? No, don't make anybody do the math. Give them a number. Would you like to save $500 today? I would love to save. Who wouldn't want to save $500? Good.
Yeah.
If you do that, you pay it up front. And the reason why I do that, it makes it really easy for my staff to not have to play banker, and we can just start care and not have to worry about monies. That's why I do that. And I want to make it affordable for you as well. Oh, okay. And now I'm thinking, she's like, I'm making it affordable for me. I'm paying $1,800, which is 3 times more when I just paid with this other guy. And she's like, okay. I said, I can feel it. And she's like, yeah. I says, I know that it's a little bit of a sting, but I want to know that you're investing in you and that you're going to get all of me. And so I'm not beating around the bush. Let's do this. She's like, I'm in. Swipes, done. It's finished. Right. So now that it's done, then we move on. We go ahead. I mean, heck, I used to do 2-year prepays. I used to have people prepay for 2 years because I'm like, hey, you're committing to braces for 2 years. Your teeth, I want you to commit to your spine for 2 years. And I sold it. I had no problem selling it.
Yeah.
It was easy. Why it was easy? Because I believed in it. So if you chiropractor,
why was it easy? Because you what?
I believed in it. Right.
Believed.
I did.
If
I
you
believed in the
believe in
service
it,
that I
they
was
won't believe
providing.
in it.
That's it.
Mhm.
And so if I believe in the service that I'm providing, then you're going to want what I have to do. And so no different. If I can go on a little tangent right now, my basement flooded 48 hours ago. And so my house, we had a water break and a flooding mess and all that. The crew came in, gutted it. So I had to have a plumber come on over. I used to build homes. I can do plumbing in my sleep. I built my house. I've done electric. I've built 12 offices. I've been fortunate I can do that with my hands. However, I'm working on a computer creating a value stack of different things and values for this coaching program I have, this training program, a lot of different things I'm doing. I could go downstairs and do the plumbing. And know what happens at the outcome of that? Yeah, the plumbing is done, but I didn't get anything done from what I'm supposed to be doing. So, chiropractor, if you find yourself deviating, looking at squirrels and doing all of these things opposite of what you're not supposed to be doing and what you should be doing according to what God's given you to do, then you create more value in that because you're dedicating time to that. But if you're going, there's no value in that thing, you're good for nobody or no thing. And therefore, your wallet suffers every time. So, I paid this guy $775 an hour ago for replacing, the main of my house and a bunch of different valves, stuff I could have done. But however, what was I providing myself for my future clients and dedicating time to doing that? I had no problem. I swiped my card. I didn't question his service. I didn't say, can you give me a discount? I didn't say there's another plumber cheaper. I didn't do any of that. I took the value. He showed up that day, showed up with a guy. Hello, sir. Welcome to the house. What's the problem? Not a problem. I'll be in and out in 3 hours. He gave me the whole value stack of what he's going to provide, the features and benefits. And this is the fee and the cost. Are you good? Yeah, done. See how easy this was? I didn't question it. Do the same thing in your office. Why do restaurants have a menu? Holy crap, that steak's $74. Are they out of their mind? I can go down the block and go get one for 19. Then go to the VFW and go get a $19 steak. Or you can go over here and get a $75 steak. What's the difference? There's a difference in that steak and how it's right. It's what you believe in. It's what you believe in. And so it's, what I mean? It's in your headspace, chiropractor. You will attract what you are believing in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember,
Right.
I was in Chicago and this gentleman comes on in and says, wow, I didn't know you're seeing so-and-so. That's my boss. And he's a custodian. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what's going on? I said, yeah, that's my boss. I was like, you're kidding me. The one that just left here crying, the one that just left here telling me that money was tight. Things are really, really tight. And like, what do you mean your boss? She owns 12 high rises. And I'm like, wow, okay. She's playing that card with me. And because here I am serving, you're going to give. You want to get away from deviating your fees? Don't talk about money. Give it to your staff. Hire somebody. If you can't afford it, hire them. It'll be worth your weight in gold. They play good guy or good woman and let your staff play bad people. Let them talk about the monies and let them toot your horn. So I went out to the parking lot, slammed on her window, roll down your window. I was hot. I said, I just gave you a 50% discount. You are full fee. Full fee. I already talked to somebody inside that knows you. Shame on you. You're full fee. I don't even know if I'm you know what? I'm not starting you right now. Let's give it a month because I don't know if you're worth me taking care of you right now. Because if you're even not emotionally involved with them and now you're bitter, you can't serve them. And so, those people will take advantage of you when you start giving it away. And know what happens? You'll get a referral and say, oh, just tell them that you can't afford it. They'll discount it. You'll see.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true.
Just if you believe in something, you believe in dogs, cats, orphan children, or whatever you want a non-for-profit you want to give to, go to Home Depot, get a mailbox, get a picture of that non-for-profit and what they're about, and put that picture above that mailbox and say, those that can't afford it can donate to this thing. I will still take care of you, but you're going to donate to the non-for-profit where my heart's at. So at least now you did that. Do that.
Yeah.
That makes
Eddie,
more sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's brilliant.
Because now you have no reservation. If you give me $5 to adjust you and somebody else gives me 5,000, who am I taking care of differently? You cannot not take care of them differently with the 5,000 because you're all in. You can't. Try it. I've tried it. You can't do it. You can't. And so therefore, when you don't know what they're paying and let your staff worry about that, you see everybody the same way and serve them the same.
Yeah.
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 Like a pastor in a church. A pastor in a church doesn't know what you're donating.
Yeah.
No idea. So they serve the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Truth. I love that. I'm stealing that box from you. I'm gonna
Word,
steal
Carol
that
church.
box idea.
Woo.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm you guys are getting as much out of this as I am.
yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna
No,
let us wrap this up. I'm gonna let us wrap this up because I want this to be posted on social so everybody gets to see this. So I don't want to make it too long.
sure.
So in case we can't post it on good old FB.
I'm always here if you want to do it again. It's always fun. So
You know,
love your body.
thank you. Thank you. We resonate. So anyway, thank you so much for doing this for me and for our profession and for our students and
Yep.
humanity.
So, nothing's wrong. Real last thing, a little nugget. Nothing's wrong with being bold. A little sense, not arrogance, but confidence, and being bold in where you're at. And I sat with this gentleman who recently came on in. He says, "I went over your care program, and I wanted to talk to you one-on-one. I usually go over your staff. I understand, but I want to talk to you." The last guy I saw was $45 a visit, and I saw him for some time. And I said, "Okay, so why are you in my office?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Why aren't you still seeing that person?" And they said, "Well, it didn't work." Okay, so you can go ahead and pay up front and I'll be ready when you're ready.
Huh?
Right? You see how that was? And so I didn't go, well, I guess I could do it for 45 too then.
Yeah, it's that simple.
It's that
It's
simple.
that
No,
simple.
yeah.
We're
Just
making it way harder,
if
right?
what they did worked, you would not be in my office.
Yeah,
Just be confident and bold about it because that'll
yeah.
shift their educated thinking and says, holy crap, they know what they're doing. I want to go. How many patients have you had says, oh, I've seen the best specialist. Everybody says they've seen the best specialist, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so people want to know that the person that they're seeing is pretty darn confident in what they do and how they deliver, and they're just head, heart, and hands, and they're all in. So go
Yeah.
be that today.
I love it. All right, you guys got it. You guys got it from Dr. Eddie Weller, man. He dropped the goods and go be that today. All right, Eddie, thank you so much. I'm going to stop this and then we're going to get this out, posted out to you guys.